What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Harry Potter, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Harry Potter series. I'm Nate.
I'm Jade.
I'm back. It's Jay.
And this week we're going to be getting into Chapter 5, The Whomping Willow.
Womp.
Womp. It's dangerously close to a Mushroomhead song called Bwomp. It's my favorite. Anywho, I think Jade has some news for us.
I actually do this week, guys. First of all, we have James back, like he said. Hey.
What's up?
But unfortunately, his wife is still not with us because she's still not doing well. But she's going to have some surgery this week, and hopefully after that, we're going to have our Chantel back. Next on our list, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Illustrated Edition by Jim Kay, came out on October 8th. So if you need to finish your collection, or at least continue it, you can go out and get that now.
So the Illustrated Edition that we had of the first book, that's the series you're talking about. That didn't come out all together? They're only releasing them one by one?
Right, we have the first and the second. The third came out, I'm guessing last year, or at least within the last year. And this is the fourth one, but the fourth book is like considerably larger, just even in print. So I've heard that this weighs a good amount. We're going to get it. I don't know if you know that, but that's going to happen. Next up on our news, October is Dark Arts Month in Harry Potter Wizards Unite. From the 8th to the 14th, there's going to be a Fighting Forces Brilliant event. Part 1, which is a new quest featuring a brilliant Death Eater and an Azkaban escapee. October Community Day is going to be the 19th, and more creatures and doxy oddities are going to appear more frequently. And from the 22nd to the 28th, there will be a new quest featuring brilliant Sirius Black and a Debentor. And on Halloween, there's going to be an exclusive quest with limited time rewards and fortresses themed around the dark arts. Last thing on our list, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is opening in San Francisco. They were running a lottery for a chance to purchase tickets to the previews later this month, with exclusive parties included. But that's going to be over by the time you hear this, so sorry.
Oops.
It's playing already in New York, London, and Melbourne, and will be opening soon in Hamburg, and Toronto's going to get that next year.
So between New York and Toronto for us then.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much the choices if we're going to go see it.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to Canada, though, so.
I mean, I don't blame you, but I'd also like to go to New York, just because Broadway.
Yeah, all right, I could see that. But that's the end of my news. I got through a whole crap ton of stuff I had typed out, I think, fairly quickly, so we can move right into this chapter, guys.
Nice job, JD.
You're welcome.
While I was gone, I made Chantel a Deathly Hallows out of vine from the woods that me and my sons collected for our anniversary.
We're going to post that up on the Instagram, which you can find at PodcastATT if you're interested.
Yeah, this thing is freaking cool. He made it out of one solid piece of vine and tied it together with twine into the shape of the Deathly Hallows, and he sent me a picture of it, and I think it's sweet.
So go ahead and take a look at that if you guys are interested in sweet things. Speaking of other sweet things, you want to get into the synopsis?
All right. Well, in this chapter, Harry and Ron run into a wall, steal a car, and narrowly avoid spending the rest of their lives as gamekeepers drinking alongside Hagrid.
Which honestly, I don't think would be the worst thing in the world.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'd be straight with that.
I think Hagrid would be pretty fun in a bar scene.
Faux show.
Yeah.
So the chapter starts out, and Harry was not ready for summer to be over. It was the best time of his life, and he's kind of jealous of Ron.
Yeah, he got to spend a month at the Burrow after 2 months with the Dursleys, and you can easily see why he wouldn't want summer to be over yet. Like, he basically just got 4 weeks of summer when everybody else got 3 months.
Right, he was literally let out of his locked room.
Yeah, his literal jail cell.
Yeah. The last night before school starts, they have a dinner that Mrs. Weasley conjures up of all of Harry's favorite things. And the twins do a firework display in the middle of the kitchen. I feel like this is something I can imagine your twins doing sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. CJ would do that. I think.
I feel like Ryan might too. Ryan has that glint in his eye that, like, he's gonna get into some shit.
Ryan is James Jr., who never did anything wrong, for the record.
As long as you don't get caught.
Never happened.
It does not say anything about Mrs. Weasley freaking out about fireworks in her kitchen.
I think maybe that's one of the things that the family's used to, because Fred and George are always blowing shit up. So it's like one of those comfy house noises.
After having 6 boys, or 5 boys, you know, I would imagine they're used to some crazy shit.
Nothing scares that woman anymore.
Yeah.
She's just like, whatever, I got my treacle tart. I don't even give a shit.
Hocus pocus it back together.
That's a good point. I have magic. It'll get fixed tomorrow once they're all gone.
If not, there's still 6 boys that are going to be doing it.
And another thing, I guess, the next day, all of the children are leaving. So she has like an entire school year with no kids because they are in boarding school.
So basically, you think she's like, let them trash it. I got 9 months to fix it. Whatever.
Right. Like, on one hand, enjoy the last few moments with your children, despite what they're doing. And on the other hand, I get a vacation starting tomorrow. Like, can you imagine?
All that separates me from 9 months of freedom is one dirty-ass kitchen.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll take that.
All day long, I'll take that.
All day long.
Fucking wet start your fireworks, boys. I don't give a shit. So the next morning, they wake up at dawn, and it doesn't matter, because it's still fucking chaos. Everyone's still running all over the place, and not having their shit together. Which I feel like is totally normal, though, because before we go anywhere or do anything, it's always a big ol' mess, and I'm a big ol' fucking mess, for sure.
Yeah. When I got here, I had to run out to my truck 3 different times, so.
And it was just you by yourself.
Yep.
Well, I kind of think we all know how hectic the first day of school can be for the kids. So this is the first day of school, but you're leaving for 9 months. So it's not like, well, if we forget it now, we can just grab it tomorrow. You get one shot. It's like packing for a trip. Well, it is packing for a trip, but you know how tense that can get around the house here.
Literally everything I own ends up on our bed.
Yeah. Jade's like, basically, this is what I think we're going to need for the next 2 days. What?
And then I just hope some fairy's going to clean it up, because I don't have magic.
I have a bad habit of taking everything at the end of the night. Swipe it to the floor, and then tell myself I'll clean it up tomorrow.
See, that might be a man thing, because I feel like Nate does that too. And granted, it's usually my stuff from the daytime that he, like, sweeps onto the floor. But then I get up in the morning and I'm like, what the fuck?
If it's, like, bedtime,
I keep my feet curled.
and it's in my way, it's just getting out of my way, because I'm headed to the bed to sleep, and I'm done. I don't care. It's not going to bother me for the next, I was going to say 8, but it's more like 4 hours, so it'll be fine.
It'll be fine, and then I'll be gone, so it won't bother me tomorrow either.
Exactly.
And that's kind of how it is, I feel like, too. Like, Mrs. Weasley and Mr. Weasley are like, whatever, chaos, just get the fuck in the car, guys, okay? And this is where Mr. Weasley shows Harry the trunk and how big it is. It can fit everybody's stuff, because Harry was getting a little worried that they weren't all going to fit in the car. Because this is like
a tiny little thing.
Yeah, it's a tiny little thing. It's got to fit Mr. and Mrs. Weasley, Ginny, Percy, Fred, George, Ron, and Harry. That's 8 people, 6 trunks, a couple pets. No, that doesn't even fit in an SUV.
How come when they stuffed his trunk into the car, taking him from the Dursleys, it didn't say anything about it just disappearing or anything like that? Or Harry mentioning how big it was at that time when he first seen it?
I think that, number one, it was just late at night and he was just happy to be out of there. But I think it kind of implied that got shoved into the back seat, and it was just him and Ron in the back seat. and Hedwig.
Okay.
So I think maybe it was super big in the back seat and or the front seat because, I mean, there was a big trunk between them, but nobody was complaining about how much room they had. It just didn't occur to Harry that we shouldn't have this much room in the back fucking seat.
Well, plus he was being attacked by Vernon at the time.
Right.
He probably wasn't paying that close of attention.
Right.
But that's a good point, because I hadn't considered that. But you're absolutely right. He would have been right there looking at it and be like, wait.
Where did it go?
Even a regular sized trunk probably can't fit in the trunk of a car, I'm guessing.
I mean, it'll be tight. I mean, but his trunk, like I said, didn't go in the trunk. It got pushed into the car with them. But anyways, all the boys are sitting in the back seat together, which is not normally comfortable. And Molly, Ginny, and Mr. Weasley are up front, and they all get in, and Molly just thinks the Muggles are really good at what they're doing with these car things. They take off like 4 different times, and they have to keep coming back. They go back for fireworks for George, a broom for Fred, and a diary for Ginny. It ends up making them super fucking late, and people are getting real agitated, which, totally understandable. Especially because if you were Mrs. Weasley, I'd probably be like, I'll send you your shit. Just leave. Okay? We're getting on the train. I don't give a shit what is at home. I really don't. Arthur, drive.
What you gotta do is you AIS them.
Right.
Ass in seat at 10 a.m. Otherwise, I'm leaving.
How come there's not, like, a magical portal in between the King's Cross station and the magical and non-magical Muggles to use? Why don't they put in, like, one of the chimneys to travel by Floo powder?
I think that a chimney might just be too out of place in King's Cross.
You walk into a fucking wall.
But there's no fireplace there. I mean, a little bit later in the chapter.
Can I suggest broom closet?
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Just a bunch of people getting lost. Like, hey, what are you doing in there? Oh, shit. I didn't realize it was a closet.
We are told a little bit later in the chapter that the only reason that the Weasleys even fuck with any of these other more, I guess, primal forms of magic is for the sake of the children.
Yes.
Which makes sense because in our last chapter, the Floo powder caused a bit of an issue for Harry. And so I think when you're getting all your kids to school, you don't want to fuck around with something like Floo powder and your kid not saying something right and you having to fucking find them. You're just like, no, I'm driving all of us because then I know you're all going to get there and leave.
Right. I am going to make damn sure you get on that train.
Right. I mean, I feel this a lot because with the kids on the bus, my number one priority when I wake up in the morning is getting those kids on the bus because if they miss the fucking bus, then they're going to be here all day. No, you're not going to be here all day. You're getting on the bus. And they always think it's funny. They're like, what if we miss the bus? I'm like, you're not missing the bus. That's what I think it is. I think it's just Mr. and Mrs. Weasley being like, no, I have all of my children contained and they're getting on the train. Which is, though, where we lead into the next part, because they get there and they're 5 minutes early. They only have 5 minutes to get into the barrier and get onto the train, okay? They make Percy go first. Then Mr. Weasley goes, then Fred and George, and then Ginny and Mrs. Weasley, and they leave Harry and Ron last. I feel like that is the most fucked up order of people that they've ever decided. And I get plot lines, but still, like, first of all, Mr. Weasley should have gone last. There's no reason that he went second. He took up a spot.
You send your oldest son first, because you don't want to send Mrs. Weasley through to somewhere where you don't really know what's going on the other side. So you send your boy, then your wife, then the kids, and you go last. That way, none of the kids, except your oldest, is in a place without a parent there right away. Right.
It should have been Percy, then Mrs. Weasley with Ginny, because it was her first year of school. She's obviously, like, all frazzled. She needs mom and dad there. Then the next 2 youngest, Harry and Ron. Then Fred and George.
I would say
Then
I
Mr.
would have
Weasley.
gone first. Just because we're walking into a wall that could lead to anywhere, but it's supposed to lead to one place.
Okay, I might agree with you, but